So as you saw in the previous tutorial, we created a stateless application, which was very simple, like by defining const and then the application. We will create now a stateful application, which or a stateful component, which is fairly has a simple syntax. So as previous, we have to import our React. So React from React. And to create a stateful application, we need to define class. So it should be extended from react.component. And we have to start with the curly bracket. So everything inside will be there, and it should be exported by export default as the previous component that we created. So what goes inside this component? The very first thing is the function called render. So we create render, and inside the render we should return whatever HTML element we want. So I prefer to have them in the brackets. So right now, because it's an input, so I want to render an input text field, text area. Yeah. And we close it. So yeah, this is the basic stateful component, and it forwards the input. And yeah, so let's try to use this inside our in our application component. So if we change this to input, and we have to import the component from the file. Yes, we save it. As you can see, it reloads, and we have an input box. Nice. So if we can also use the previous component all together by just putting them. So title, but we will face an error, I believe. Yeah, and this is because it cannot forward two separate components from one component, so it needs to wrap both components, or as many components that we want. In this case, these two components should be wrapped in another component, maybe div. So I create a div and put this inside my div element and save. Let's see if it is. Yeah, as expected, now we have a title and we have an input box. So yeah, this was a very basic description of how we can create a stateful component with React.js.